Georgia's going to be ticked off and ready to go. Is that the way you see it for this Orange Bowl coming up? That's what former Alabama linebacker and former Saints linebacker Roman Harper had to say. He said they know they let a national championship opportunity slip out of their hands. I think they may have let a national championship slip out of their hands. That's been my thinking this week. I thought this was maybe an opportunity might be the better way to put it, but this is a shot to steal a national championship for Georgia, and I think the sign of mental toughness is something happening to you that you don't like, and then you coming back and recovering from it as fast as possible. The only way to do that for the Dogs right now is to go out and win the Orange Bowl. Not much has changed on the betting front. I'll tell you that right now. Georgia's still a significant favorite on that front, but I mean, all that we don't really know some of the details here. We've seen a lot of the Florida State players have opted out. Some of their most impressive receivers are not going to play in this game. Georgia's still sitting at a 14-point favorite, but listen, Florida State's defense is legit. Okay, they have players. Georgia is a much better offense than the Noles have dealt with this season. But still, this is a very good Florida State defense, and it's going to be something that Georgia is going to have to deal with and handle and maneuver around. It's a challenging. This is a challenging thing for Georgia. Checking out our Eco Poly quick spotlight here. This is made of 100% plastic. It is recycled plastics. 20-year warranty. Make sure you're checking out the link down below from our friends at Eco Poly. It's an awesome Christmas gift. You can customize these however you want. I'm just showing you red and black. But anyway, if you look at who Florida State has played, obviously started the season with LSU, who is good, and on offense, I should say. After that, it's not been as prolific because they're playing in a league where it's just not a great league right now, the ACC, and I'm looking real quick as we go here. I don't think they played North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So they did not play North Carolina. So a lot of these teams that they've dealt with in that league are not top 30 offenses. The closest they got to that was Miami at 35. So they've only seen LSU in the grand scheme of things in terms of sort of explosive offenses. They gave up 24 to LSU, which is a pretty good situation, to be honest with you. I mean, that was an LSU team that night that made a lot of mistakes. Was that because of Florida State, or what do you think? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think LSU was in total position to win that game. The amount of mistakes that they made, or the amount of, I should actually say, the amount of decisions at the beginning of that game. There were some decisions by Brian Kelee during that game that I think were not ideal. I'd put it to you that way. They were not an ideal situation. Looking for an awesome Christmas gift? I have 13 of these remaining. That's it. And this is there's only 33 of them. And once these 13 are gone, that's it. So this is Kelee Ringo picking off Bryce Young on the way to Georgia's first national championship under Kirby Smart. I'm in this photo, amazingly. This is a Dawg Post exclusive. This is a shot from our cameras on the field in Indianapolis. So if you are looking for something that's just really hard to get, you have been given a great opportunity. I'm putting that link down below as well. I'm going to spotlight some of the stuff that we've got that's really, really rare these last few weeks before Christmas, so that you can take advantage of that while you can. I think okay, so there's a couple things here at once. Number one, this is a legitimate Florida State defense. That should be taken seriously, okay? Their offense is bad. Florida State's offense is bad right now, and that's just all there is to it. I don't think it was bad during the season necessarily, but you're going to see an offense that's just not very good. So Georgia's going to have a lot of opportunities in this game if they don't turn it over. I mean, I think if they play just possession football, this could be, this probably should be a multi-score win for the Dogs. But you're 5 days, 6 days away from Georgia and Bama. And I think we're going to talk about this game a lot because we talk a lot about important games and games that matter over time. But it is time to move forward. That game happened. Georgia lost. They didn't lose because they weren't the better team. They were the better team and lost, which is another conversation for another time. But it's not like anybody on that field, Bama or Georgia, should feel embarrassed about what happened. They had two of the best four teams in the country going at it, and Alabama won the game by a score, a field goal. So, but that you've had something bad happen to you doesn't mean that it should linger forever, as the Cranberries would say. You don't have to let it linger. Alabama is a great example of this, y'all. I mean, you look at what happened. They got beaten pretty solidly, I would say, by I'm gonna switch the microphone here. Oh, that's not plugged in. Wonderful. They got beat pretty solidly by Texas earlier this year. So that was bad for them. But it only took them 2 games to kind of get it right. One was against South Florida, where they looked horrific. I mean, that was as bad as I've seen Alabama play in a while. I was going to say ever under Nick. I wouldn't say that, but it was pretty bad. And then you got, a week after that, they beat Ole Miss by 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good Ole Miss team, y'all. They didn't score a lot on Ole Miss, not as much as Georgia did, but they won the game pretty decisively. I think they won it by 14, something like that. So they showed that they can move on. And they have a different challenge now, Alabama, than Georgia does, because they're in different phases of seasons now. Alabama's going on to try to win a national championship. Georgia can't do that. Georgia's in the position that Alabama was a year ago. They're watching the other play for a national championship, and they're playing in a prestigious bowl that no one is super, eager about anymore for whatever reason. I mean, listen, this is the way I look at this Orange Bowl. I think that this is one of the few bowl games that's not in the playoff that matters. I think it matters in a way that it didn't in the past. I remember Mary Helen worked for me for a long time in the mid-2000s, and she's gone on to a lot of success in television. Well, we were driving out to the Liberty Bowl in 16, and we were driving back from the Liberty Bowl, I think, and we were listening to Michigan play Florida State. I mean, that was just an epic game. It was a lot of fun to listen to. Dalvin Cook went off. I can't remember who won the game. Florida State. Did Florida State win that game? And but that was really it for the Noles. I mean, after that, in 17, they lost to Clemson. That was a 10-3 Florida State team. Not a great Florida State team, looking back on it. Actually, they started the season number 4. And then lost to Louisville and North Carolina within their first 5 games of the season. And then, of course, the tight loss to Clemson in the ACC, just in the ACC season. Yes, they did beat Michigan. And that was really, until this year, honestly, that 16 Florida State team, that's about it, y'all. I mean, it's been a while since they've mattered. Now, they've gone through a lot. Anybody that's had Jimbo Fisher as their head coach has gone through a lot. That's all there is to it, particularly lately. But this is an opportunity for Florida State, albeit a very difficult one. This is an opportunity for Florida State to punch its ticket to 2024 and say, hey, we didn't play well or whatever, and we lost our quarterback. And that's the reason we didn't play well. But, I mean, that's not completely true, by the way. But this is a real opportunity for the Noles. But they're going to have to play their best game of the season to win this game. I mean, it's just all there is to it. The best game they played this year, I mean, I would still argue it was against Florida State. Against LSU. I've just been outside running around, so that's why I've got the sniffles real quick. But yeah, I mean, they didn't play well against Boston College. They did not play well against Clemson. They played okay against Duke. That was probably their most complete game, I guess. That game or the Pitt game. Pitt's pretty bad because what they did against Miami was unimpressive. The Gators was unimpressive. North Alabama was unimpressive, and then of course the Louisville game. that probably cost them their shot at the college football playoff. So they've not played well in a while. And that will be their challenge. But I think going back to what Roman had to say, Georgia's going to be ticked off and ready to go. I don't care if you're mad. Being mad is overrated. Can you go execute? That's what I want to know. And we'll see this couple weeks here from now at the Orange Bowl.